And with us right now, he was the defensive coordinator for the Wildcats back in 2003. Tom Goff joins us. Tom, I appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm great, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
First off, congratulations on your retirement. You seem way too young to be retired, Tom, but congratulations on the retirement. Just a couple of weeks ago, right? When it's official that you retired.
Yeah, June 1st. It actually was the first day. So, yeah, I've got to play a lot of golf. It's been great so far.
So I'd like to think I helped edge him into retirement.
You think you helped push Tom toward that direction?
Yeah.
Well,
didn't hurt.
well, no track and field to coach, no football to coach. So what's the plan now that you're retired? Just more golf, right?
More golf.
More golf. Well, that's never a bad thing. Never a bad thing, Tom. No. Oh, by the way, Joel says hi that you had back at Fruita. Joel Stevens, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd heard this, but I've never talked to you about this. He said that you used to tell stories about when you worked in a prison.
Yeah, I did. I worked in a federal prison, actually, in Florence.
Okay.
I helped open it up. Yeah, before I came to Fruita.
So you worked at the Supermax, right?
Actually, I worked at the FCI.
The other
Federal Correctional Institute. Yeah.
All right. So, and certainly that kind of training prepared you for working at Fruita Monument High School, right?
There's no doubt about it.
Didn't hurt, that's for sure.
Well, particularly with dealing with guys like the Buckeye Boy, you had to have some kind of experience with those kind of nefarious characters.
All right. I told him it was almost exactly the same, minus the razor wire.
Yeah, same kind of approach. Just no armed guards or the razor wire.
I definitely wasn't making a run for anything. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. There's running not in your DNA, sir. Not in your DNA at all. Well, Tom, we'll go back to 2003. That Fruita Monument football team that Billy Moore's the head coach and you were the defensive coordinator. Well, you guys had to, in the playoffs in particular, you had some games where the defense had to come up big in some games because you had to win some really close ones in the postseason. You had the 14-13 win against Pueblo South in the semifinals. Before that, it was a 2-point victory over Ralston Valley. Won a close game, 14-7 over Greeley West. So your defense really got tested in some of those playoff matchups back in 2003.
Jim, I was thinking about this morning. That's probably the proudest I've ever been coaching a team, because at the beginning of the year we were not a very good football team. A lot of people don't remember, we had played Ralston Valley the first game of the year up at their place, and we got beat 44-6, and it really wasn't even that close. And I believe the third game of that year we played at Loveland, and I don't remember the score, but it was ugly as well. And we were 1-2, I remember, and we were in the coaches meeting, and I was thinking, man, this is going to be a long, long year. But those kids really turned it around. Sam Sapkin, I mean, what a stud that kid was. I mean, and there were others that helped turn it around, and we just all of a sudden we just kind of came together, and we had a lot of kids that pitched in, and and then we ended up beating Ralston, like you said, by 2 in the playoffs. And I think Ralston Valley was probably the most shocked team in the state of Colorado that year after the way they manhandled us the first game of the year.
Former Fruita Monument defensive coordinator Tom Goff joining us, talking about the 2003 Fruita Monument football team. You mentioned the late Sam Safkin. What a great individual, what a tremendous football player and athlete that he was. But I mean, you had Cody Walker on that team, who was an all Southwestern League player that went on to play at Colorado Mesa, and you had a fun toy to play with in Ryer Gear on both sides of the football. Absolutely. Of course, at quarterback, and also playing some defensive end for you.
Yeah, I think it would be safe to say that there weren't too many combinations of quarterback defensive end anywhere in probably the U.S. that year. Ryer was just he was a stud, no doubt about it. He could have probably played any position we had on the football field. We had a lot of great kids. Tyler Ryan, was huge on that team. Derek Thorne, I remember, played linebacker, played our drop end, weak side linebacker. Jake Wilson, Brandon Warnke. We just had a lot of kids. Nick Heath, that just came together, and they were a special group. They were a lot of fun to coach.
Fruita Monument defensive coordinator for the 2003 4A state runner-up Tom Goff joining us on the Jim Davis Show. When you have a player like Ryer Gear who, is the quarterback, he's defensive end, he's playing both ways, he's playing a ton of minutes, how easy, I guess, is not the word, but how much does he help motivate guys on defense? Like maybe they feel a little tired, but they see this kid, he's got to practice both sides of the ball, he's playing on both sides of the ball. How much of a leader and an asset was he on the defensive side after playing series offensively as well?
Ryer was a really good leader. And he not only was led by example, he was a vocal leader as well. We had him and Sam Safkin, and boy, you couldn't have asked for two better leaders on a football team. And it was just a pleasure to coach all those kids.
Tom Goff joining us today on the Jim Davis Show on the team. Who are maybe a couple of underrated players? Talk about a lot of the bigger names that were on your defense, Tom, but a couple of underrated guys that really stepped up and had a big seasons that helped you guys get to where you were to get to the title game. Who might they have been back in 2003?
Boy, you mentioned Cody Walker. He was a sophomore, I believe, that year, and he learned a lot, and I really enjoyed coaching him. But he and Derek Thorne are the two that I remember as linebackers. That Derek was older, but he had a lot less experience, but he was willing to do whatever I asked of him, and he got so much better from day one and till the last game of the year. And there were so many kids that just contributed to that team. We didn't really have a superstar outside of maybe Ryer, but they were just hard-working kids. And talk about a blue-collar team. That was a blue-collar team.
And then you get to the state title game at home against Loveland, and look, it didn't go the way you guys hoped it would. But they also had Colin Klein that went on to play Kansas State, Jeff Byers who went on to play at USC, was a gold helmet winner. That was a really tough matchup for your football team at Stoker that day in the state title game.
No doubt about it. I think that was the closest game they had in the playoffs all year. I don't think anybody came within 4 or 5 touchdowns of them until that game we had with them. The thing that I feel most proud about probably that team is, we did things the right way, and I don't think you could necessarily say that about Loveland. We made our kids go to class. We made our kids pass their classes. We didn't spray them down with Pam. So I was proud of our team, no matter what happened. And Loveland was an excellent team, no doubt. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I just like the way we did things right.
Absolutely, 34-13, they get the win. But I remember, and Buckeye, you remember this too. We talked about it. The 2 students that dressed up as the cans of Pam that were told they could not go in the stadium, which was still, I think, hilarious that they did that, because the Loveland was accused of using Pam on their jerseys to make them slick so you couldn't tackle them. So I thought that was pretty funny. It's too bad they didn't get to stay in the stadium to really show off those costumes.
Yeah, that was I got to admit I got a good laugh out of that when I saw them dressed up that way. But it is what it is. We battled them. I remember we scored. Made it 27-13, and we had a chance to get right back in the game, and unfortunately, it just didn't come to fruition. But like I said, I couldn't be more proud of that team probably more so than any team I ever coached.